How are you doing today, Chris?
Doing pretty good.
Sweet. Hey, quick question. Do you go to the wellness center in the mornings?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see you there sometimes.
Yeah. So usually when I head there, I'm usually just in like my routine and I'll see some people and I was like, is that Chris? But I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no because there's two guys and people know them. It's the Mart brothers. They're twins. So now I know who both of them are and they'll say hi. But before that, I was like, hey, there's Nick. And then I find there's another guy. I'm like, wait, why? Is there two of them? And then it took me a while to see which one's which. So now I know who's who.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to get you on. So I like asking people, and I haven't had any students. So you came up on my feed, and I think I saw you one time talking with Sydney Davis.
Yeah.
At one of those meetings. So I was like, hey, well, let me just shoot the shot. Let me see if it works. And yeah, you're up here, man.
Yeah.
So what, are you a law student?
Yeah. I'm in my second year of law school.
How is it?
It's pretty intense. It's definitely been an adjustment, and like coming back to this year, I've been trying to stay on top of things and be involved not only in the law school, but across campus and just staying involved where I can.
Cool. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Lower Brule. It's the central part of the state, about an hour south of the capital.
Oh, snap. Okay. And so did you do your undergrad here too?
Yeah. I came here in about 10 years ago. I started my undergrad. I got a bachelor's in political science and with a minor in business administration. And then I did a master's in public administration, went back home, got involved in the community, saw kind of a need for change in my community. So I decided to run for tribal council. I served on the tribal council for 2 years, served concurrently as a county commissioner. And I was the first Native American to do that in Lyman County. And then I just by nature, I guess, saw a need for attorneys in rural South Dakota and decided that maybe law school was the next practical step for me.
Oh, okay. So how's the community over there?
It's pretty good. Doing better. I will say now leadership is a little bit more responsive to the community than it probably has been in the past.
Finding insurance sucks. Lucky for y'all, I partnered up with Farm Bureau Financial Services. Need auto insurance? They got you. Need home insurance? Why not? You can bundle up and save a little bit because right now every dollar counts. They also do life, health, farm insurance. And if you have a bit of extra cash laying around, their financial services might help you out. Give John Cole a call and see what he can do for you. And tell him I sent you there. Links are in the description. Call 605-624-3011. Okay. So correct me if I'm still way new on this stuff coming from Texas. Where that community is not, or where that is it on or is it not on a reservation?
It is on a reservation.
It is on a reservation. Yeah. Okay. So I'm starting to learn more about the stuff on res. And correct me if I'm wrong, on a reservation, they got different laws and rules?
Not necessarily. Some do. They kind of develop their own codes kind of based off federal law, or sometimes they'll have them based off state law, even though necessarily state doesn't have any jurisdiction on tribal lands, but a lot of it's kind of based on federal law.
Oh, okay. Federal law. Okay. So now what's the reservation called again?
Lower Brule.
Lower Brule? Yep. Okay. Can people get on it or is it private?
Yeah. Anybody can go through the community. The only thing that kind of is not great is we're 12 miles off the interstate. So we're 12 miles north of the interstate. It's a little bit of a trek to get there sometimes, especially when the weather gets bad. But
okay. Yeah. I think over the summer I went to my first reservation on accident. So I was over there in the Black Hills. Yeah. And I mentioned it before, so I won't go too deep. And then we were trying to come back, and then we wanted to head to the Badlands. We already went to the Badlands once. Then we're like, hey, let's head when we come back. Let's just cross through there. And for some reason, my Google Maps took me somewhere else, and I could see the Badlands, but I'm just following my phone. And then we get on the dirt road, and we're driving for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, almost an hour. And I'm like, I don't know, where are we? And we're on a dirt, it's just a dirt road, and there's barely anything. Maybe there's a house every 5 minutes. And then I saw something. I don't know if it said red something. And I'm like, is this Pine Ridge? I'm like, no, why would it take me through Pine Ridge? So I stop because I'm running out of gas.
Yeah.
And I check my map and it says I'm in Pine Ridge. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm like, well, where's the nearest gas station? And Google Maps told me it's in somewhere in Pine Ridge. And it's like, it said it's 42 something minutes, like a long time. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, I probably have to head back. But that was my first time in Pine Ridge and the place looked empty. So yeah, that was exciting. But I don't know. I always hear some stuff about like some of the reservations. Lucy, I work with Lucy. She
Lucy Drapple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know her.
Hey, okay, cool. Yeah. We work in the same office. Yeah, and she was telling me, I think she's is it Yankton?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm starting to learn more about that stuff because I haven't seen any where I'm from in Texas. I have one of my cousin's wife. She is not Cherokee, Comanche, but she said that they don't that you cannot go on the reservation. It's more
I would say it kind of differs, I guess, across communities. Here in South Dakota and in the Great Plains, I don't necessarily hear that as an issue of people going on, being allowed to go on the reservation or not. So I think a lot of the communities are more open. Something I'm involved in separately from law school too. I serve as the vice president of South Dakota Native Tourism Alliance, where we're working on cultural tourism right now. But we're really trying to get people to come through our communities to look at the different aspects of tourism within tribal communities across the state.
Okay. How did the reservation start? Like, I don't know too much about the history or what.
So reservation started probably in the late 1800s. And they started as a way to kind of displace Native people, from resources. A lot of tribal communities ended up on lands that were not good for farming and agriculture. So especially like here in South Dakota, like there's not a lot of tribes that are involved in farming and ranching because of that. My tribe, fortunately, has had some good land, so we have a really good farm corp and a ranch. But every res has that ability just because of where they were placed.
Okay. Is being on the res, is the lifestyle different than out, like, for example, here?
I think there's some aspects that are different, especially when it comes to like cultural from a cultural sense, and just growing up in the community. Like, one thing I've always thought about is that I've had the ability to practice my culture kind of from a young age in my community, just by having people there and a lot of people in the community kind of wanting to teach the culture. But I noticed that outside of the reservation, there isn't that same opportunity for people, and people kind of have to go searching for the right either religion or whatever cultural background they want to pursue.
Oh, okay. So why? I know you mentioned that you wanted to become like an attorney, but like, how come? This episode is brought to you by 5 Star Barbershop. Are y'all guys looking for a place to get a haircut? I recommend 5 Star Barbershop. They're the #1 barbershop in the southeast region of South Dakota. From haircuts, beards, eyebrows, shampoo, you name it. They also offer discounts for students and athletes. I will add their link so you can make an appointment because they get very, very busy. Now let's get back to it.
So growing up, it was kind of always a discussion my grandpa and I had. My grandpa, actually, he'd be considered my great uncle. But in the native kinship terms, I would just say my grandpa, but his name was Mike Jandrew. He'd been the chairman of my tribe for about 40 years before his passing about a decade ago. But we had talked, and that was something we just both discussed that I would pursue. Of course, like I said, I did undergrad and I got my master's, and I, at the time, was like, maybe law school wasn't the option for me at that time. But then again, as I went home, I just saw a need for attorneys, and just like I'm the type of person, if something keeps showing itself to me, that I need to do something about it. And so I saw that we had an attorney for the tribe when I got on council who had passed away. And then the tribe went about 6 months without an attorney, where we couldn't even get people to apply for the position. And then just like the scarcity of attorneys in rural South Dakota. I come from Lyman County, a county of about 3,000 people. And I think there's one, maybe two practicing attorneys in the entire county.
Whoa. Is it the same with like healthcare also? With doctors?
Yeah. We have like, especially on the reservation, like we don't even have a doctor specifically at Indian Health Service in my community. We have physician assistants.
Why do you think it's the reason?
I think a little bit of it is housing availability, but also being where we're at. Like the closest Walmart to me growing up was an hour away.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, which was like completely different for me when I came to Vermillion, where there's a Hy-Vee and a Walmart right here. And it's definitely an adjustment too.
Oh, okay. So what else was different when you came here? Like, were you kind of scared, or was it like, oh snap, excited?
I think there was a little bit of culture shock as I came here. Again, like I said, I grew up on the reservation. I went to tribal boarding school, or not tribal boarding school. I went to a Catholic boarding school in Chamberlain. But that was the area I grew up in. I got to practice my culture almost every day. We prayed in school. We got to smudge. All of those things. I grew up very involved and close to my community. So coming here to USD, it was a lot differently. A lot different, the aspect that those things just weren't as common as practices in the community. And that's where like I found my home at the Native American Cultural Center here. And like that's where I kind of go to be around the community that I've created here at the Native Center. But that part, but then also, like I said, like having a Walmart and Hy-Vee here, having different options to eat. In my town, there's two places to eat. There's a casino restaurant, and there's this Oriental lady. She has out of her house. She serves food. But those are the only two options to eat in my community.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then if I want to go eat somewhere, it's 30 minutes to Chamberlain to go. There's a McDonald's and Taco John's there. Or like I said, an hour to Pier. And then there's some other like sit down restaurants and things there, like Perkins and some kind of local owned businesses as well.
Do you think even people that grew up in South Dakota, do you think they're still like unaware of reservations? I
think so. And I think actually this summer, I spent some time working for the Attorney General, interning there. And another intern, he grew up in Pier. And we kind of had a discussion about tribes, and he had a take that tribal people get like per capita payments from the U.S. government, and that's how we live. And I'm like, I wish like right now in this moment, like I wish I had a per capita payment. Like I'm broke, but I'm like, no, like we don't get per capita payments. We don't get these things. And what people don't understand is treaties were made with tribal communities, across this country. And part of those treaties were to provide education services, healthcare services. The reservation boundaries were included in those. And the federal government has a trust responsibility that is to, these tribes and these nations. So that's why now like Congress funds them. But even then, like the funding doesn't cover enough for, it covers basic services, but nothing above that. If we want to get something else, we have to get referred out. We have to find other resources, whether it's from like when I work for the tribe, like I'd get insurance through work, and that may have to cover something Indian Health Service wouldn't be able to cover for. Like I got my wisdom teeth removed. Indian Health Service covered so much of that, and then my insurance had to kick in and cover some more of it.
Okay. So why? This is because I don't know too much about it. What does, like, for example, with the community or with the reservations, do they need more funding, or how do we get those people out of there, or make them live like a better lifestyle?
I think a lot of it starts first with some more resources. But if those resources are being provided in the community, like making people more aware of how to utilize those resources and how to go about getting them. But also there's an aspect of historical trauma that has gone on in reservation communities for a long time, starting with boarding schools, and how that era, started, and still to this day effects from boarding school lead into like today, like that. I think that plays a role today. And like there's a new trend to start language revitalization. I shouldn't say trend, but a new there's more advocates now wanting to go towards language revitalization, because that's something that was severely lost due to boarding schools, and culture that was severely lost due to boarding schools. But also there was a period where it was outlawed that Native people could even practice their way of life, and that didn't come about till the 1970s. Where Congress passed a law, the Indian Religious Freedom Act, that allowed us to openly practice our way of life.
Oh, that was just recent in the 70s.
I mean, my mom's born in 70, I think. So, like, yeah, in my mom's lifetime was literally when we were able to practice our way of life openly.
Do you think nowadays everything's gotten like a little bit better with the government stuff?
I think there's some pros and cons in how things can go. I think it depends on how educated and knowledgeable like Congress is, or our representatives are. Like, I'm grateful for our South Dakota representation, especially in Congressman Johnson, Senator Rounds, and Senator Thune. Like they really tried to find better ways to approach tribal communities and getting them resources. Whether it's, like I said, language revitalization, public safety, workforce development, all of those types of programming. And they've done a good job at trying to get communities involved. And, not everybody has the right answer, or we might have different approaches to things, but that doesn't mean that people aren't trying in some aspect to alleviate some of these disparities on the tribes.
Okay. But no one's trying to because you'll hear it, sometimes the news is all over the place, but these people, like, for example, just like in Congress or in South Dakota, none of them are trying to eliminate y'all. Nothing like that, are they?
And I think there's probably some people out there that have the thought that, termination, that was an era of that tribal communities and tribal people went through back in the, I think, 40s through the 60s. And then they try to eradicate and assimilate, tribal members at that point. But I don't know that it's gotten to that point again. I think it just takes a lot more, again, sitting down with people, having a conversation. Like, I really value having open communication with people, and whether we agree or not, like, we sat down and we had that talk. We had that discussion, hard discussions about real life issues, and not just the tip of the iceberg, but, like real down to the ground issues that are affecting us. And so I'm grateful for those people who want to have those open communication lines and want to talk deeper on issues.
I like that. Yeah. That's what I've been doing lately too, man. Like, a lot of people, well, I don't know if a lot of people, but there are people that don't want to have those discussions. I like talking mostly because my mind could change, and I don't think that's good. I'm very flexible, which is bad sometimes. Like, one of the issues going on is, all that stuff with like the deportation and the ICE stuff. So with that, I am very, I don't know. I was talking to my wife about it too. And she, like, me and her don't agree too much on it. I understand. I'll go into just a little bit, and you could jump in if you want to. Like, with being here legal, I understand. If you are here illegally, it is technically it's a crime. It's a crime. It's like if someone broke into your house. I understand that part. I think how they're handling it, I feel like they can handle it way better. I've been watching some of the stuff. I mean, maybe I'm just watching those few videos, but also, I grew up, with a lot of Hispanic people, my parents are from Mexico, all this and that. So I have probably a different view. And I know friends and I know family that have been here illegally. Yes, they came here illegally. Are they doing crimes? Not really. And there's also one of the, I think this is a misconception, unless they changed it, where they say, oh, well, all these like undocumented people, illegal people, they're getting all these benefits. I'll speak about it like in the past. I don't know about now. Maybe it's changed, but you can't or you couldn't get like any benefits because you have to, I know to get like food stamps and all that, you have to have a social security number. And if you're illegal, you don't. And also you want to be, under the radar. You don't want to say anything. So these people that I've seen, that I've experienced, they're just working. They don't want to get any trouble, this and that. So I don't know where that came from, unless maybe it's some states or cities that are giving some benefits. And probably nowadays it's probably changed because I think throughout it was when Biden was here, there was a lot of people on the border. There was a lot of people crossing. So, but now, like I was watching some of those videos with the ICE stuff, and I wish, like the way they're tackling it aggressively, pro or not or con, whatever. I wish they would tackle, or I wish they were that aggressive. If they were that aggressive with, for example, with regular crime or with drugs or this and that. For me, the way I'm looking at it is they're attacking just migrants that are just not doing something. If you're going to attack some migrants, at least go for the people that are like, let's say, in prison and jail and deport them. But I don't know. That's my thoughts. I went on a tangent.
I think that's fine. I go on tangents sometimes too, but I think the important aspect here again is education and looking at how we can better approach situations. Again, I don't think if you're coming to this country and you're committing crimes and you're here illegally, like yeah. If you're here legally, then I think that's fine. But I also grew up in a Native community, and just like looking at it from that aspect, like, oftentimes some of the phrasing I hear in my community is, well, anybody that's not Native is here illegally anyways. And, and so, but I just think again, it's education, is looking at how we can approach this in a way that is respectful to everybody. But yeah, I guess that's kind of how I feel about that.
Man, it's just it's tricky stuff. But like, for example, like I'll just talk a little bit just about the politics stuff. Like, I'm brand new to it still. I'm just trying to get into it. But you said you got your degree in like political science. What did you guys have to do? Like, has that changed your view on some stuff, or how was that?
I mean, somewhat. I think a class that really helped me was I think it was an American government class I took when I first changed my major to that program, and we kind of had to debate both sides of like issues. So like, we would have like, we had a debate book and there was like different topics. Like one of the topics was marijuana, and we had to write a debate for both sides of the argument. And then we wouldn't know until class which side we would have to go and argue. And then midway through, we'd have to flip to the other argument. And if we were arguing for it, midway through, we'd have to flip and argue against it, or vice versa. So I think that really helped me look at issues from both sides. And that's how I try to approach a lot of things, is let me get information from both sides first before I sit down and fully commit to a side of that issue.
Yeah. And now, do you think it's possible to not even pick a side? You could be like, oh, well, I viewed like this and this. Like, for example, that's actually a good one with the marijuana. Like, so for me, I don't smoke. I don't drink. Why? I just don't. Like, I know people say like, you don't drink. Why? Is it like religious thing? Is it social? I'm like, I don't know. I just never drank before. I mean, I'll start if not. I won't do that. I just don't. I just never drank.
Yeah.
But for example, like the marijuana thing. This is what I think, and probably will be controversial. I think I don't like the use of marijuana. I don't like the use of drugs, but I think it should be legal. That's just me. But it's also the same thing with drinking. I think, what I've seen, I think drinking is bad. People, there's a bunch of accidents and this and that. Alcohol can make you, if you're crazy about it. Should it be legal? I think so. If this is legal. Yeah, I wouldn't do it, but I don't know. I feel like, on that issue, should I even pick a side, like a ban or not? Or Because I don't want to also be like, just centered. Like, no, I'm not like in the middle with everything. But you kind of feel me?
Yeah. So this is a good issue because it's something that I even had to, as a tribal council member, kind of debate amongst my council on whether or not we should move towards like medicinal marijuana legalization or full on recreational legalization. And I started with I first was like, well, I'm for medicinal. And probably about a decade ago, I probably would have been someone that was like, oh, I'm against marijuana being legal. But recently I've had family who've had cancer and things like that, and who have medical cards on their reservation. And it's not that it's gonna necessarily cure the cancer, but the part of it is that it eases pain. I watched one of my relatives who wasn't eating once they got their medical card and smoking medicinal, or the medicinal side of marijuana, like they were able to eat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, those aspects were like, okay, I would be for it in that sense. Recreational is a little bit harder for me, only because the community over for me has gone to recreational. There's been some issues with, teenagers taking it into the schools. And so that's kind of where I draw the line too, where I'm like, recreational, but it needs to be really regulated if it's going to be recreational, and who regulate to the fact of some other things like alcohol and things that I know like still people are able to get that that aren't 21, but still finding ways to regulate it a little bit better to keep it out of the hands of youth and teenagers and things like that.
Yeah, and I think it's that, and it might be a good example or a horrible example. It's like with the movies and video games. You got like different, there's, what do you call it? Where they have the, in video games, there's E for everyone, T for whatever, M for mature. Same thing with films. There's G, PG, PG-13, this and that. Do I want them to like ban video games? No, I love video games. Is there some video games that are kind of like hardcore? They say, yeah, but that's why there's a rating for it. Probably the same with. That's why we have like the alcohol stuff. Like there's the rules, 21, right? It's 21, right? Yeah, 21 and this and that. So it's, it's stuff like that. And I don't know, like I've been throughout these years, I'm like, man, is it better to have like more regulation, less regulation? Because you want people to be safe, but are these people that put in the laws doing it right? But then laws change. It's all over the place. So it's
like, and like I said, there's some things we can't control. Sometimes, people who are under the age of the, legal age for whether it's alcohol or, now it's tobacco's 21. When I was 18 a decade ago, it was 8. You could be 18 to buy cigarettes. But still, like, people are still going to find a way to get a hold of them. It's just how we look at it and how we, regulate it. Because like I said, not everything's going to be perfect, but finding the best way to approach, again, the common ground for that issue. Like, let's meet in the middle. We may not agree on this, but let's meet here and say, here's the regs we're going to push forward because these are going to be the most effective, as opposed to pushing one side too far or one side too lenient on the strictness of that law.
Yeah. One issue that changed my mind is because before, maybe it was the South Dakota thing, move with guns. I was way against it because me thinking, well, if they don't have the guns, it's fine. But in Texas, it was in I want to say it was 2017 or 2018. And it was it was actually in my city, in the Fort Worth area. There was a church. And then there was a video. Some guy, I don't know, he was just a lunatic. He came in there and he had a shotgun, but he just came in there and he just blasted, just shot one, shot another one. And then that church, someone shot him. And then you see everyone with a gun. And I'm like, oh, snap. And then it got me thinking, because before I was like, well, I'll just call the police. But it was just that quick. And then lately, I now have some friends that, they have guns, this and that. And I'm actually fine with it because there's a protection just for yourself, for your home. Because, I talk to my mom about it sometimes too, because she hates that stuff. But also she grew up in Mexico. It's a way different area. Yeah. And then we would talk about it. I'm like, what if someone broke into the house? Like, what would you do? What would I do? And my mom was like, oh, well, we'll call the cops. I'm like, but what if it takes too long? Wouldn't it be better if you had like at least something to defend yourself? So it's one of those things, but for me, that changed my issue a lot. It's just defending yourself. So, and I understand too, because maybe some people are like, oh, well, then that means everyone's gonna have a gun. It's gonna be like the Wild West. Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things. It does change my mind. Would I have? I don't have a gun with me. I don't have one. I get people listening. Oh, we'll break into his house now. No. Because my wife, she loves shooting stuff. But like I think it's fine to like meeting on the middle ground and see. Okay, pros, cons. What can we do? What can we not? I don't know. That's what.
Yeah, and I think I'm someone that's I think the right to bear arms is in the Constitution. But at the same time, I've had recently, in August, I had 2 nephews that were killed due to gun violence. And it kind of made me think about it in a different way. But I think that a background check or even a mental health eval, is something that, people should have to go through to get a gun, or maybe even a proper training on how to use the gun. But I think that, especially in my community, there's some people who have access to guns that shouldn't use them. There was a lot of shootings this past summer between Laura Brew and Crow Creek. They're very close in that they're about 15 miles from each other, but the communities are very integrated with each other. And there's some younger individuals now. Some of them are in jail, but they took guns and they were just shooting people. And I don't think those type of individuals should have access to guns.
Mm-hmm. If certain individuals, like let's say, certain individuals, if let's say there was no guns didn't exist or there was a ban, do you think they would still continue doing? They'll find a way to do something.
And I think that's kind of the issue that we see a lot. Like I said, mentioned a little bit before, like with alcohol, cigarettes, and if marijuana became recreational, I think there's still some gap somewhere that someone who's not meant to get them will have access and get them. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what necessarily would be the approach to stopping that, but there's always some way that individuals get access.
Yeah,
that shouldn't.
Yeah, and then like two examples with a country. I know like the UK, I think they did a ban, and there's a bunch of stabbings. But I think also Japan doesn't. I don't think either it's illegal or a lot of people don't carry. But that place is super safe. So you got like 2 different. They did the same thing, but it's 2 different. Well, I guess environment. One environment that I can talk about because my wife and my parents have talked about, like in Mexico. I don't know about now, but I know before. So it was, and I'll just say what I know. People can correct me. It is illegal to have a gun unless you go through some back. I think technically it's like very illegal. Like you cannot have it. But the bad people will do bad things. Of course, they'll have it and this and that. So that's another example because I think it used to be legal and then they did a ban, and I think people just, I think they sold their guns or whatever they did because as a good citizen, whatever, you want to do the right thing. You're like, okay, well, I'll follow the law. Bad people won't. So it's one of those tricky things. I don't know what, I don't even have the solution for that. But it has changed my mind, especially like living more like in not a city environment, but more like a countryside, especially when you don't have a bunch of resources. I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. When you were talking about Constitution, the one thing that I think everyone's talked about it. I don't know. It depends. Did you hear about the issue with the USD and the professor and the Charlie Kirk thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to, I wanted to dive into it just a little bit. If you wanted to, if not, it's okay.
I mean, you could talk about your thoughts on it. If I have anything to contribute, I will.
All right.
But
yeah, and if not, I think I gotta say, this is just my thoughts. Even though I'm an employee, this is just my thoughts. It won't be controversial. Like the stuff, there was a Charlie Kirk got shot. He passed away. He died. Whatever. people's thoughts on his views, whatever, doesn't really matter. Then there was a professor around here that said some things, but he said on his personal Facebook page. I won't say what he said. And then I saw the governor. He found that post, and I think him and someone else. But I saw the governor posted it, and of course he said, "Hey, why is it doesn't seem professional, this and that." And then the USD, they put the university put him on leave or administrative leave, if I remember right. And then that's when the whole controversy, this and that, happened. And what got me thinking first was First Amendment, freedom of speech, and I'll say it because I got different views, because I'll explain why. Whatever he said, was it right? Was it wrong? Well, you could be the judge on that, because he was just talking about a person. He didn't make any threats. Should he have been on that administrative leave or that firing, whatever, at that part? On my view, because let's say even if I didn't agree what he said, let's say he said like horrible things, does he have the right? Me thinking yes, because first of all, it's on his personal page, and also because technically you're an employee of the state, which is federal, which is government. I think your freedom of speech is protected because you didn't make any threats. So should have they done that administrative leave thing or the firing? No. Do I agree with what he said? I don't think so. Well, maybe it's mostly because I don't say bad things, or I try not to antagonize. But that's what I've talked to some people about it, and same thing, internet. People are like, "Oh no, it's freedom of speech. You can say whatever." Some people are like, "No, because you're saying bad things or whatever, and this and that." I don't know. Is there like, I don't know. But I guess that's why you do have that freedom, because in other countries, you would be shut down for saying anything. And here, which is great because you could, you could disagree on something without getting in trouble. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on stuff like that?
I just think that there comes a point. So I saw the post, and regardless of who dies or what happens to somebody, to say things about them, especially when they can't defend themselves, regardless if they're a public figure or not, I don't think that is the right approach to any situation. Understandable, people are mad, people are upset, whatever. Some people were, like on the side of mad and upset. Some people were happy that happened to that individual. And I'm like, you shouldn't be happy about anybody dying in any way, especially the way that Charlie Kirk had died. But also I think there are some protections in the First Amendment. And I thought it was really interesting in my employment law class. We actually did the exercise on this specific thing. Cool. And so our professor just kind of divided the class up amongst the side you're representing the professor, the side you're representing the university. And then in the middle, some of the group was split up, but then the judges were in the middle of the classroom. But it was just interesting to kind of see different perspectives. And, I think some of the room too were on sides that maybe naturally they would not be on if they were the ones, in real practice or in real life, or even their thoughts in that moment. I don't necessarily know that they would have been on that side had we not been placed on sides by a professor. So I just thought it was a unique opportunity to kind of see different perspectives. And I think some of these issues too, again, let's sit down and have a conversation about these issues. Let's sit down and talk these out without taking them to social media, without getting on, some rant about something. Sit down and let's talk about them first. If you have something absolutely ugly to say, don't say it. I mean, isn't that the golden rule we grew up with? Like,
yeah.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
But like, I just think that I don't think it should have been said the way he said it. I don't think the post was the best. I don't think reactions on either side were the best thing to it. Mm-hmm. But again, it happened the way it did. And I just think, again, we need like we have to stop living in a time where we're so polarized that we can't even discuss issues together anymore.
Yeah. Why is that? Why are we living in that? Because before people would say, "Oh, we're so divided." I didn't believe that until recently. Well, I'm gonna say like these past, I'm gonna say year, 2 years, and I'm like, man, people are like a little more. Let's say the word divided, but I feel like not. I probably the people that I think people that are very loud. Yeah, of course they'll get more attention, but I think the majority of people are pretty fine. Like the people I talk to, I talk to people like even let's say just both sides or whatever side you're on. I think the people I've talked to, maybe they disagree on something, but everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants to, do better and this and that, and they're not really aggressive. So it's probably just same thing, media or those not celebrities, but those people that are just representing it, like super, super extreme stuff. I think most people can talk about it, but do you think like now, are we living in a...
I think to an extent, I think sometimes when people do sit down to have, like, obviously people have feelings and thoughts about things and how they see the world is different. Everybody sees the world differently, no matter how we grew up, no matter where we grew up. Like everybody's going to look at the world a little bit differently. But oftentimes some people just cannot sit down and say, hey, you disagree with me. That's fine. Let's agree to disagree and we can still be friends. Yeah. Oftentimes people, I see a lot more of people saying, oh, you like this person, or like in politics, you follow this person, or you call this person a friend. You're not a good person. Or,
oh, I see that all the time. Yeah.
Like you follow this person, so you're not a good person. Or you have this thought on this issue, so you must think X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, did you sit down and have the conversation with me? Can you see my approach to the issue? If you can't see my approach to the issue when I'm trying to see yours, then that's making us divided. That's creating the polarization. That's where it starts, when we can't look at each other and sit down and say, here, I can see your approach. I don't agree with your approach, but I can see it. And, and you can see mine, and you may not agree with it either, but let's get up and let's go to the gym together. Let's go have a beer together. Let's go do whatever. But instead, people get up from that table and they immediately think they're enemies because they disagreed on something.
Yeah, just on one thing. Yeah. That's it.
We could agree on 90% of other things. That 10% we don't is where everyone creates this massive polarization. And some of those things are, pushed to a higher level because of social media, because of the media, like. And so I don't think that people take the time to actually sit down and have deep discussions on issues anymore.
Yeah, like another example, and actually it's a good example with everyone, people that are married. Like me, I'll say, or maybe unless everyone has a perfect marriage, and I don't. But me and my wife, I love her, but we disagree on a bunch of stuff, or even have different views. Does it mean I hate her and this and that? No, and the same thing. I'll listen to her, she'll listen to me, and then we'll talk about some stuff. And okay, so that's why you think, or this and that. I think people they just like categorizing people into groups, and I don't like that. Like, for example, people maybe I haven't seen it, but I'll see it, I guess, on the internet or whatever. They'll categorize like, okay, I'm Hispanic, Mexican American, whatever you call it. People, oh, he's Mexican, American, or Hispanic. They all think alike, and this and this and that, and they love this. I'm like, no, because we'll have like different views. Man, people in Mexico, they don't agree with some stuff. What does it mean that? How am I going to agree with some other person on this issue? Like one issue that I hate it with a passion, and I'll just say it. I think over 99% of Hispanics hate it. Is the term? Have you heard that term, that Latinx?
I have.
Okay. And I know what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to be inclusive, this and that, but I hate it like with a passion. And a lot of Hispanics that I know hate it only because the language. I know what they're trying to do, trying to make it inclusive and this and that. But in Spanish, and I'll just talk about Spanish because that's the only other language I know, there's a feminine and a masculine, like Latino, Latinas, this and that. It's very hard to I guess, I don't know, put like a gender neutral term. Is that what they're saying? I hate that. I don't know what it just, because you're messing with the language now. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that's the only thing that they're like, oh, you're part of that Latinx. What? What do you mean Latinx? Well, I don't know. People like categorizing. First of all, like, I'm a human, or I'm an American, or you could say we categorize it. Sure, I'm Hispanic or Mexican or South Dakota now, or Vermillionite, or I don't know, Clay County, whatever. And then we categorize by streets or, but I don't know. That's just one of the things that just gets under my skin. Everything else I'm pretty cool with. But that's, I don't know. I think maybe we are divisive, but yeah, people just have those talks. And I think I'm seeing it more, those talks. Maybe not, maybe yes, but yeah, people are just, they want to be the enemy. It's the same thing with like sports teams. You know, it gets aggressive sometimes, but then not. Like, you know, USD is going to play SDSU. Some people are, you know, very aggressive. But at the end of the day, I think some people are just like, fine, you know.
Yeah.
Or it can be like other sports, you know, like football, you know. Am I a Dallas Cowboy fan? Yes. But I also just change teams once we lose. So that doesn't help either. I'm telling you, man, those Cowboys. I don't know. Yeah. You know what my family says? So we'll start out like, you know, going with the Cowboys. And then this is what happens. You start losing and then you're out. I've been hearing it for like 15 years. They'll say this. Just wait till next year. Bro, we've been talking about it for years, man. What do you mean wait till next year? Man, I'm gonna start. See, I'm gonna go on a rant on the Cowboys. I don't want to go on that. But what else do you like doing, Chris? Besides law school.
So law school
takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, but I go to the gym every morning. Cool. I try to make it the first thing I do. I really enjoy that. It's kind of like my me time. My time with myself. I try not to like think about other things. I try not to bring even law school. I be walking on the track and I thought about law school and I'd be like, nope, get out of my head.
Do you see Dean Neil Fulton there?
Yeah, I'll see him there in the morning sometimes. I just saw him there this morning, actually.
Yeah, he's always there. I see him all the time.
Yeah. I like doing that. I also have a weird, probably unhealthy relationship with Diet Coke right now.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'm up to like 4 Diet Coke cans a day or something. But yeah.
Is it so funny thing also, I don't drink. I'm not a perfect unicorn, I swear. And I'll tell you why. So I don't drink Coke or soda, or I guess they call it pop here.
Yeah.
I stopped drinking it when I think in middle school. So and this is, you're bringing me back to my like traumatic stuff now. So when I was a kid, around elementary school, I was a big kid. Like I was a big kid, but that traumatized the hell out of me because, and it's not because the kids didn't make fun of me. It wasn't them. You know who made fun of me? Family members, man. I had a cousin. I won't say her name, but she knows who she is. She was like, "Dang, Jose, you fat ass." I'm like, wow, dude. And then there was one time we went to they took us to a church's chicken, and they had these that was the first time I tried these jalapeno poppers, and I liked them. They were real good. They tasted real good. And then I think they were gonna go another time when we visited them, and I was like, "Hey, can you guys get some jalapeno poppers?" She's like, "Damn, dude, you are fat." I'm like, wow, I that positive. But ever since all that stuff happened, I was very traumatized with losing weight. And it got to a point, and you hear it sometimes with like, I know it's very common with women. They try to keep their figure or like anorexic, but it also, people don't know it happens with guys. It actually happened with me. I didn't get to that point of, not anorexia. What's the other one that they throw up?
Bulimic?
Yes. I didn't reach that. I would have some part. So because I was it was at that point. So I was born in 95. So late 2000s when, YouTube internet started happening, I started learning more about like the gym and the health and nutrition stuff, and it started getting more popular. And now I'll be tracking calories in middle school and high school and learning about this and that. And I would have family members. They're like, why are you tracking your calories? That's unhealthy and this and that, whatever. I'm like, man, you guys are very positive on this stuff, but it would mess with me. And there was one time I was in Mexico for summer, and my other two cousins, man, dude, they're family, man. Your family's tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I was tracking how well I was eating, so I wouldn't. Actually, it got to the point where I think I was just eating one meal a day. So I probably was being kind of unhealthy, and they would be making fun of me, saying stuff in that, and I'm like, oh my God. But then later on, I started learning about more of the fitness. Powerlifting was great, so I started learning this and that. But man, that stuff traumatized me a lot. It got to a point where I would, I remember, and I don't do it no more, so that's fine. But I would track my weight, and I would track how I look and this and that. And if I'd be like, no, dude, I can't. I'm too scared to eat this. And I got to the point where I would not eat any sweets at all. But now everything's cool. Of course, those habits, they still stick around. But people don't know that, because even I was at that point, I could not lose weight when I was much more younger. Then I started doing like more activities, and it helped. But losing weight is hard.
Oh yeah, that's something in my adult life that I've struggled with a lot more than when I was younger. I was like probably 100 pounds of wet, and like I've always been short, so I was like itty bitty growing up, and then kind of like high school, kind of stop just eating chicken nuggets and start eating other stuff. But and then I kind of struggled with weight there for a while. Then when I got on the council, just from not really I shouldn't say I didn't have time, but I wasn't making time to kind of take care of myself either. And so, I mean, I ate out all the time. Anywhere I went, like, yeah, it was bad. I got to like the heaviest I've ever been in my life, was on the verge of diabetes. And that's kind of when I decided, like, all right, I'm going to retake control of my life again. Like, so I start going to the gym. I do try like a really like low carb diet. And I start like dropping weight, and then I was like, this is not sustainable though. Like I tried the keto diet is what it was. That's like, I lost a bunch of weight, but I'm like, this is not sustainable because I'm not really even eating any carbs. One. And it's just like what I could eat, I got tired of kind of eating the same thing as all of the time.
Yeah. Man, I'll give you some tiny advice. I'm not a personal trainer or nothing. All that stuff, like, it's hard because you gotta find something that's sustainable. And those diets, I've tried all the stuff except the juicing. I wanted to try one time, but I think that went too extreme. But I think the thing that helped me when I was younger, and it had to, cutting out sweets helped a lot. But also just exercise. I guess it's a combo with everything.
Yeah.
You'll hear people saying, oh, it's all food, or no, it's all diet, or try this. I don't know, stick with it. And if you like it, enjoy it. Like, you'll hear some people saying, oh, do a bunch of cardio. Oh, don't do a bunch of cardio. Oh, stick with weight. Oh, don't do it. Oh, you're doing this. Just do whatever you want. Yeah. And if you see the results,
And I would say recently what I've been doing, I think, is like helping. I kind of hit a plateau last year a little bit, and I was kind of just going to the gym, like just lifting, nothing else. I didn't really have a diet. Kind of ate whatever. So I kind of plateaued at a weight for a little bit. But kind of dropped some now, kind of finding a balance between what I eat and how much of it I eat.
Yeah.
And then again, making sure I go to the gym, no matter if it's like lifting or if I do cardio or just like mobility stuff. Cause I found like when I wasn't doing mobility, like especially mobility, like I was like, my muscles are stiff. I was like cramping a little bit. And now like I feel better, like kind of in finding what worked for me, or what like is working for me is like making me more like I need to go to the gym. I want to go to the gym, as opposed to like before it was like a chore. Like, oh, I got to go to the gym today.
Yeah. And that, like, the exercises are not tricky. They're different. Because I've, like I said, I've tried it all. I've tried just all cardio. I was at that point where I don't think it was too unhealthy. I would go to the gym. It was like every day, 5 times a day, even twice a day. And I would not get any results still. But then I found out because I wasn't eating enough too, because I was eating, and I don't know why I was trying to lose weight. That's how traumatized I was. Because I still have it. Like, if you see, I have this stuff here, and I'm like, that is fat. That has to be it. But I think someone was telling me, they're like, it's not. It's that loose skin. I'm like, it's the loose skin since I was a kid. Like, yeah. So I'm not self-cautious, or I'm not too self-cautious of it anymore. I just accepted it. I don't know. Man, I'm telling you, family sucks sometimes. Oh, but like with exercising, there was I think that's when I started going to I learned about powerlifting, and it was called it was strong lifts 5x5, and it was just squats, bench, deadlift, and some accessories. And that was only 3 times a week. And I'm like, 3 times a week? Don't have to go like, go hard. And then some of it, it's not even, because I would do like an hour and a half. This stuff was short. It's like, okay, I'll try it. And that was when I was my strongest, just 3 times a week. And then sometimes I would just put in some cardio, whatever, because I like riding my bike. It was fun. But that stuff, I think sometimes just exercises. And funny thing is, I'm not promoting it. I promise I'm not, because I'm not no more. During that time when I was doing the powerlifting, I was a vegan. Did I do it but I did it mostly for the health reasons, because that's when I was learning about it. Am I vegan now? No. Would I go back to it? I think so. And it's funny because during that period, because it was during my college days, it was when I was my strongest. I don't know if I'm my healthiest. I'm still the same. So, and I've had people ask me, they're like, they're like, because there's a lot of misinformation about diets. Because I would hear people say, oh man, if you're going vegan, this and that, you're curing all the toxins. I'm like, no. That stuff is crap. Why was it my strongest? Because of the vegan diet? No, it was probably because of the exercise. I was also eating 2,600 calories, and everything was fine. And that, but I was keeping track only because to see what it was. And surprisingly, it was 80% carbs, 10% fat, 10% protein. And surprisingly, like the protein amount, the grams, I think if I remember right, I was only getting like 60 grams, and it was at my strongest still. So even like when people say they're counting macros, I don't even believe that stuff no more. So
yeah,
but do whatever you want, whatever works.
I think vegan is not something I would ever do. I will like, one place I like to go in Vermillion is the tavern here, and I'll go to prime rib night.
The prime ribs are pretty good too. Yeah. I don't do it no more. I think it was probably when I moved to South Dakota and I got married. That's when I just changed. Also because I started, people, they're like, you want to try deer meat? I'm like, all right. I like the deer meat. It's pretty damn good. And all that stuff. Yeah. But
deer jerky.
Yeah. Man, these people, the meat's pretty good.
I have an uncle at home. He's avid hunter, goes every year. But my aunt kind of complains because she's like, when it's deer hunting season, like they just have their like meat all over basically their house. Like they're drying meat for beef jerky and storing it and whatever it may be. But yeah, he makes really good like homemade beef jerky from the deer he kills himself. Yeah,
man, I can't be vegan with my friends here. They also go hunting too, and they'll have like their chilies and this and that. Also, my wife, she makes carnitas, tacos, all this and that. So that stuff, that didn't work out. But of course, include vegetables in that. But even like, because that stuff before when I took out the sweets, because it got to the point where I was like, no sweets. Like I would be like, no. But now, same thing. I'll eat some sweets, but I'm very, because for me, if I see like, for example, let's say like a cake, it's not like, oh, just give me one slice. No, I want the whole thing. Or ice cream. Because I don't know how my wife does it, because she's like, just eat like a little bit. I'm like, I can't. It's right there.
Yeah.
I can't. What do you mean a serving size? Oh, just eat the chips. Oh, just eat like 3. I'm not eating 3. I'm gonna eat that whole entire
bag.
Yeah. So I'd rather not have it at my house. I am more like now I kind of control it. But if you put some like wings right there,
Ooh.
it's not just one. I will eat them all.
Oh yeah.
I will tear that up.
And I'm like, oh, 6. Well, you better bring me 6 more.
Yes, that's probably 12, 18. Yeah. But yeah, man, all that stuff is tricky. But yeah, whatever works, positivity, slow and steady results. And also the mind.
Yeah, that's literally like something too that I've had to kind of tell myself, the slow and steady, that I'll get there, whether it's with law school or at the gym or in life in general. I like recently I started what I kind of start calling like my own healing journey, trying to step away from like drinking alcohol and kind of addressing the role alcohol played in my life for a long time, and just within myself, and then like, you know, trying to build like healthier relationships with my family, with my friends, with you know, just people in general. And so like that's part of it too, that I'm like slow and steady, like get my mind right, I can get right in other areas.
Yeah, I agree. But see, we're already at the hour mark, so I need time flies. But what? Before we cut it short, any shout outs, anything you want to give? You know, what's coming up or?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say is, so something that I serve on student government for USD for the I represent the law school. So in recognition of Native Heritage Month next November, I'll be introducing a resolution this coming week to just recognize that from a university standpoint. And yeah, just the Native Heritage Games coming up. The new swag dropped with the Shumani, which is Lakota for coyote. Or I guess it's a wilderness dog or something, but you can translate it to coyote, but it's Shumani, and that's just Lakota for coyote. Like that's what we'll say, like Shumani Oyate Ki, which is just Coyote Nation. But that merch just recently dropped at Charlie's. You could pre-order it in time for the Native Heritage game, which will be on November 1st. And then the press release went out with the helmet design. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So that is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, some of the stuff that like, there's some people selling things out there that aren't real, but the helmet is real.
Okay. The helmet is real. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. I'll put all the links and everything. But yeah, we'll cut it. And yeah, I want to thanks a lot, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.